Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Today is the first day of June, so you could read Proverbs chapter 1. And there's 31 days in most months, or 30 or so forth. There's 31 Proverbs. And a discovery has been made. When you read Proverbs chapter 1, it is the foundation for understanding the entire book. And that's the title of the sermon today, Understanding Proverbs. And in chapter 1, just the first part of the first verse says the Proverbs of Solomon. But is it really the Proverbs of Solomon? Yeah, they came from his pen, but who inspired that? Now let's go back to 1 Kings chapter 3, because in the beginning of his reign, the Lord appeared unto Solomon. And he offered him a wish. Do you imagine that? A wish from the Creator? What would you wish for? Now, verse 5 of chapter 3, 1 Kings. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And God said, "Ask what I shall give you." And Solomon said, "You have shown to your servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before you in truth and in righteousness and in uprightness of heart with you. And you have kept this great kindness for him, that you have given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is today." The beginning of his reign. "And now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king instead of David my father, and I am a little child. I drink milk." A child. That is a humble statement by King Solomon. "I do not know how to go out or to come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people whom you have chosen, a numerous people who cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Now therefore give to your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, to discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this, your great people?" And the word was good in the eyes of the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said to him, "Because you have asked this thing, and have not asked for yourself long life." Notice that's the first thing, long life, "and have not asked for riches," and that's number 2 for yourself. Or 3, "nor have asked the life of your enemies." Is that where we get 3 wishes from? The 3 things that the physical want. And they all fail, don't they? Who asked for this wish that Solomon did? "But have asked for yourself understanding to judge justly." Was that about himself? The other ones are all for self. What do you wish for? "Behold, I have done according to your words. Lo, I have given you a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like you before you," all the way to Adam, "and after you none shall arise like you." None. That excludes Jesus Christ, of course. "And I also have given you that which you have not asked, both riches and honor." So what does that mean spiritually? That he's going to give us wisdom, if we're like Solomon here in the move, and in the kingdom he will give us riches and honor. Now if you go just to the next chapter, verse 32, you read, "And he, Solomon, spoke 3,000 proverbs." You know how many proverbs are in the book of Proverbs? 915. You're getting less than 1/3. So he spoke 3,000 proverbs. Now, did this take time? Absolutely. He didn't just like wave a magic wand and boom, like a program. No, this took time. Let's go now to the book of Proverbs. And we begin in verse 1, the Proverbs of Solomon, given from God, the son of David, king of Israel. And note this, every proverb was true before it was written down here. And it's true forever. These are always going to work. Verse 2, to know wisdom. What is wisdom? The ability to see the future. Do you want that? Who wouldn't want that? Well, the answer is a fool. And instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, not just to have understanding, to receive the instruction of the future. Righteousness, that's justice and judgment and equity. You know what equity means? Fairness. Being fair. You're a host and you have 9 people come over. You made a pot roast and you're already in your mind being the host to serve others. You have it all divided in your mind how many will be equal share. And you have this for fairness, equity. That's what a true king does. It's not chaos there. That's what this book leads us to. To give prudence to the simple. The whole entire book is about this. Knowledge and discretion to the young man. And remember this, it says in Proverbs 22:15. Foolishness is bound up in every child. Every child. So the moment you think your child is fantastic, great, perfect, and everything, you got a problem on your hand. Does God think about that about us? He would go, no need for the potter. Oh, it's perfected. Pleased to meet you, glorified one. But that's not. He shapes and he lets you fall. He lets you fall. Let your children fall. Let them fall. But realize the foolishness has to get out. And it's with us too as well. So, 5, a wise man will hear and will increase learning. Now that is very important. Every day we increase in learning. We increase in a skill. We shine more and more onto the perfect day. When one day goes by, it was an off day. How many off days do you have? Well, we have a few off days. Even that talk is bad. That's embarrassing. One off day could lead you to a bribe that could destroy you. So we learn, we constantly, if you read the last chapter of Proverbs, there's a virtuous woman constantly, even when she is leaning back, she's knitting, she's producing development, not just selfish. And that's what we're going to be to Christ, a server, a helper. We read onward. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. You know why? Because God does. God has 24 elders, and it's a genius move. There's many ways to do things. Having counsel means you're patient. Those that don't want counsel dive into things and then later regret it. How many of us have done that? 6, to understand a proverb, this entire book, and its interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Dark? What does that mean? It's riddles. It is cryptic. In Proverbs 25 verse 2 it says, kings search out a matter. God hides these things. He wants us to study and unlock them. 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise the future and instruction. My son, hear the instruction of your father, and forsake not the law of your mother. Now read it again spiritually. My son, you're begotten, hear the instruction of God the Father, and forsake not the law of New Jerusalem, the mother of us all. It says that in Galatians. For they shall be an ornament of grace to your head. What's inside your head? Thought. Do you want your thoughts to be of God or of yourself? How's Adam doing right now? It says, and chains around your neck. A beautiful necklace around your neck. They're close by, aren't they? Really close by. My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent. Now, the whole book of Proverbs has many parts of chapters about this subject, constantly repeating. Don't get strayed from the narrow path to the wide path. Now listen what it says. If they say, peer pressure, come with us. Let us lie in wait for blood. We will watch secretly for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole as those who go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance, their bribe. We shall fill our houses with plunder. That sounds like pirates. These are lazy. Don't be enticed with them. A quick fix. They don't have vision of the kingdom, do they? If they were allowed in, they would steal the merchandise of others. Does that sound like anyone? Satan, Ezekiel 28. 14, cast in your lot among us. Where's your lot, brethren? In the kingdom. And let us have one purse. Even that gets broken up amongst thieves, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. They'll steal amongst each other. Mm-hmm. My son, do not walk in the way with them. Keep back your foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird. I like the translation, if a bird sees a net, it's not going to go down there. But they lie in wait for their own blood. They watch secretly for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone who gets gain by violence, who takes away the life of its owners. Do you remember a man named Haman? He wanted the life of Mordecai and all his people. What was his end result? Exactly what it says. The Proverbs don't lie. 20, wisdom cries out. She utters her voice in the streets. The future! No, don't do that. No. Too late. And their bellies are full and they're all smiling, and then the hangover. Yeah, the future. 21, she cries in the chief place of gathering, in the openings of the gates. In the city she utters her word, saying, how long will you love simplicity? You know, that's being naive. Oh, you got Ponzi schemed? Oh, you got schemed again? Scammed? Oh, I got scammed? Constantly? Because you're naive. You don't see the future. You just said, click now. Click now. $300 I get if I send this? Click now. I want it all. I want it now. That will destroy you. The Proverbs are the antidote to that. The whole Proverbs. And it's all in chapter 1, talks about what the next 30 chapters will be about. Understanding the Proverbs. And will scorners delight in their scorning? And will fools hate knowledge? Yeah. Turn back at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit to you. See, that's why we got a down payment of it. Do we want more of God's wisdom? That's why something poured out is a power. You could receive more and more power. And then when do you receive a full measure of that power? At the resurrection. It says, I will make my words known to you. When? Pentecost. 24, because I called and you refused to hearken. I stretched out my hand and no one paid attention. No one. How many in the church of God pay attention? Looking up. But you have despised all my counsel. Remember way back in verse 5. Attain unto wise counsel. It's a connection there. That would have none of my reproof. Oh, you have it all figured out? Oh, children, you have everything figured out. You have everything figured out. You don't have to listen to your parents. It goes with us. I'm a child of God. I have everything figured out. I don't need you, God. Oh, this is him speaking to me? Bring on the cobwebs. I don't need to listen to him. The reason anyone doesn't study and read the Proverbs is because they don't want to. That is the answer. Because they don't want to listen to God, because it contradicts their current lifestyle. So we open up God's words and we listen to him speak to us. It's beautiful, isn't it? 26, I also will laugh at your calamity, God says. God can do that. He's the creator. And your destruction comes like a whirlwind, fool, when trouble and pain come upon you. I have made a dumb decision. I made a dumb, and now you're doing it again and again, next year again, and it's a loop because you're not practicing the Proverbs. God wants us never to do it again, so we can go into his kingdom. It says 28, then they shall call upon me. Oh God, please help me. But I will not answer. God will not answer? I thought every time someone goes all around the world, oh God, please. He says right here, you won't answer. He's not going to be caught up in no loop. We continue here. They will seek me early, but they shall not find me, because they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord. What is it? The beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Lord. That's verse 7. This is the foundation of understanding all the Proverbs. Get out of your own way and allow God to be at the forefront. What does God have to say about this? Where's that in the Bible? Someone has a thought. Where's that in the Bible? It's a good question, huh? So that's why we need to study the Proverbs. 30. They would have none of my counsel. They despise all my correction. Now, if you have a kid that despises all your correction, well, we read in the Old Testament, the book of the law, when that kid becomes of age, he calls him a glutton, is stoned to death. And that's after many chances, many. They don't just, anytime there's disobedience, stone their child. Okay, it's after many warnings. And they don't want that one to go out into society. And they stop it, don't they? And what God is going to do with the glutton, he's going to throw him in the lake of fire and not go on to his kingdom society. It's a parallel that makes complete sense. So how are we raising our children? How's God raising us? To prepare us for going into God's realm. The Proverbs are wonderful. Verse 31. Therefore, they shall eat the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. Hello, Adam. Adam, taught by God? Now think about that. Taught perfectly by God. Does that make God not a righteous teacher? Does that make him have a beam in his eyes and he can never tell you how to raise children? God. No, because it was their choice. He did everything he could do to teach them the right way, but they didn't want it. There will be many that don't want it. Many are called, few are chosen. See? So we do our best, as the Father did to Adam and Eve. He did his best. And they said, I kind of see it a little different way. Don't you hear that word with children? A little different way. For the waywardness, going backwards, of the simple shall slay them. I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to keep this commandment anymore. I'm getting worn out. I'm bored of this stuff. Oh, tell me something about the kingdom. What do you think about the kingdom? What was that? They're not talking about the kingdom, right? Where's their passion, desire? Where's their studying and reading? God is not first in that statement, huh? So the Proverbs prepare you to what? To rule on a throne. Solomon received them first. And guess where he ruled? On a throne. And then he got riches and honor. Correct? We need to put these in our mind. So when it comes tomorrow, day 2, read chapter 2. Go, I'm going to be a king. God, show me how. And come to God and let these words sink into my mind and be at the forefront. And let me show fruits of these things. And shine. And the complacency of the fool destroys them. Who's complacent in the churches of God in Revelation 3? Laodicea. In need of nothing. I'm fine right now. Remember, Noah's time, they were in need of nothing. I have everything I want. I don't need you, God. Adam, look at, I got this beautiful garden. I got everything. Complacent. Now, another word there is prosperity. See, in need of nothing. Don't you realize it says you are wretched, miserable, and poor? That's what it says to the Laodiceans. Wretched, miserable, and poor. You're in Egypt. You're in darkness. You can't even walk 3 feet without going, ow, and hitting your head because you're in darkness. And God's in light sees that. And a fool just goes around and trying to leading the blind, and other fools running into walls all over the place here in the simulation. The Proverbs helps us get out of the maze of darkness through the light of Jesus Christ. 33, the last verse. But whoever hearkens to me shall dwell safely and shall be secure without fear of harm. Now, what church does that sound like? The Church of Philadelphia. It says, prophecy is revelation. It says, these are the ones who I will spare from the hour of temptation which will come upon the whole world. It gives you those who will escape the tribulation. It says that's the Church of Philadelphia, not some group named by an organization by the IRS. So these are the ones who will be spared. The ones that put on the cloak of God, the armor of God. So Proverbs chapter 1 is understanding. It's the foundation to understand the entire book. Can you see that? It sets you up. And then chapter 2 tomorrow. And then you do the whole cycle again next month. You're training to be a king. It takes effort. Yeah, it takes effort. Effort. Where are you going to put your effort? In the kingdom? Invest in it? Wherever your treasure is, Jesus says, that's where what will be? Your heart will be. And then it says, out of the heart, the mouth speaks. So let's understand the gifts God given us. He has given us a wish that he gave Solomon. He gave us his wish.